Okay, here we go. To introduce this year's inductees, I'd like to introduce first and foremost, Timothy O'Keefe, class of 1990. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce Julianne Driscoll, class of 1994. From the class of 1995, Chea. From the class of 2002, Survival J. Ross. And from the class of 2006, Courtney Schermerhorn. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you the Lowell High School Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2021. At this point, I'd like to thank a number of people who make this event possible. We have an amazing board of directors and selection committee who take great pride in Lowell High School and its legacy of outstanding student athletes. First, I'd like to recognize our board of directors, and if they could stand up as I mention their names. Tim Patterson is not able to be here tonight, but Mark Byrne, Bob Bayham, Walter Nelson, Tipper Gerken, not able to be here tonight, Jim McGurk, Jeff Lambert, Pat McGurk, Mary Beth McKinney, and Jen Martin, who also was feeling ill, could not be here. Also, I'd like to introduce, and also on our board, I head of school, Mike Fiato, and our athletic director, Dave Lozinski. And our selection committee. If you think about this, we only induct 5 athletes a year. And of course, last year we had to skip the induction because of COVID, so it's great to be all together here again. But if you look at the history of Lowell High School and the size of the school and how many people actually compete in sports each year, it's pretty special to be inducted into this Hall of Fame right here. It's pretty extraordinary, actually, when you look at it. So the selection committee has quite a task to undertake each year when they look at the candidates and then decide on who the 5 will be for this coming year. So our selection committee is headed up by Bob Bayham. And also, if you could stand, we've got Jim McGurk, Mark Byrne, Jen Martin, Tipper Gerken, Tim Patterson, Jeff Lambert, Mike Stewart, Pat McGurk, Mary Beth McKinney, and Marjorie Miller. And finally, to put this banquet together, thanks to Mark Byrne and Jeff Lambert. We also send out letters each year to quite a few people to be sponsors. We had a wonderful response this year, you'll see in the program book. So thank you to everyone who has sponsored this event. But we'd like to mention some of the key sponsors that are with us year after year. And those would include Alliant Credit Union, Washington Savings Bank, Jeanne d'Arc Credit Union, the Lowell 5, Enterprise Bank, and Titus Plummer-Writers. So thank you to all of our sponsors. And at this point, we'll break. We'll be served dinner. And once that's complete, we'll come back and we'll start the induction ceremony. So thanks for being here today.
This year's our 35th, and what I'm going to do is we're going to introduce the past inductees. And if you can just bear with us, if the inductees can stand and hold your applause to the end. I know some might not be able to, but If you can, that'd be great. So we're going to get started. So from the class of 1912, representing Edward J. Colley, his granddaughter, Sue Colley. Class of 1935, representing Raymond E. Riddick, his daughter, Margie Miller. Class of 1968, Tom Whalen, representing Tom, his brother Cliff Whalen. Class of 1965, Brent Nelson, representing Brent, his brother Walter Nelson. Class of 1950, Brian F. Reynolds, representing Brian, his son Brian Reynolds Jr. From the class of 1949, James Fallon, representing James Fallon, his daughter Kathy Dillon. From the class of 1968, Walter Timothy Green, representing Walter Timothy Green, his son Chris Green. From the class of 1973, Jeff Lambert. From the class of 1968, Paul Lanou. From the class of 1972, Cliff Whalen. From the class of 1961, Camille Butch Frediani. From the class of 1989, Chris Green. From the class of 1982, Stephen Beatty. This person needs no introduction. Coach Bossy. Class of 1986, Mary Beth McKinney. Class of 1993, Leah Catherine Green, representing Leah, Chris Green. Class of 1974, Brian Patrick Dillon, representing Brian, is his brother Michael Dillon. Class of 1985, Amy Leakites, representing Amy, is her mother Jan Leakites. Class of 1994, Dan Graham. From the class of 1978, Brian McMahon, representing Brian, his father Bob McMahon. From the class of 1970, Raymond E. Riddick Jr., representing Raymond Riddick Jr., is Margie Miller, his sister. From the class of 1978, Mike Stewart. From the class of 1944, Chester Zablak Sr., representing Chet Zablak Sr., is his son Chet Zablak Jr. From the class of 1971, Brian Donnelly. From the class of 1963, Thomas Machado. From the class of 1964, James McGurk. From the class of 1962, Walter Nelson Jr. From the class of 1983, Gail Reynolds, representing Gail is her brother Brian Reynolds Jr. From the class of 2002, John Dolan, Jonathan Dolan. From the class of 1995, David McNeil. From the class of 1952, Robert Leakites. From the class of 1978, Phil Meyer. From the class of 2003, Paul McNeil. We have a round of applause for all the alumni Hall of Famers. Thank you very much. Congratulations, and thanks for coming tonight. Did I miss anybody? I apologize if I missed anybody. At this time, I'd like to introduce Bob Bayham. He just wants to go over a few things about the process of how people get nominated and selected to the Hall of Fame. Okay, Bob Bayham.
Thank you very much, Mark. Welcome to all the parents, friends, teammates, past inductees, quite a few here tonight, student athletes, and especially to the Hall of Fame class from 2021. We know it's been a tough year, able to elect these 5 individuals last year, but because of the COVID, we were not able to have the banquet until tonight. So this is probably the longest time anybody has waited to get inducted. A year and a half, I guess, or so, 2 years now. Anyway, I want to thank you all for coming to the 35th Annual Hall of Fame Banquet. It's hard to believe that in 1986, Brian Martin got a bunch of us together, and many, Walter Nelson, Jr. and Dirk, are still with us on the different committees. And the process was set up years ago by a good friend of mine, Dr. Jim Cizik from the University of Mass Lowell. And Dr. Cizik was the first selection committee chairman. And we have different committees beside what you see here tonight, the banquet committee. Special thanks for our executive chairman, Chet Zablak, Mark Byrne, Jeff Lambert, who do the bulk of the work to put this all together tonight. So I'd like a special round of applause for this. Committees on tickets, programs. John Bolio was a past inductee from years ago who actually left money in his will to fund the ribbons that the inductees get every single year. So for John to do something like that is simply amazing. As the selection committee chairman, I'd like to thank all of the people that are on the committee with me, and I'll name them in a few minutes, but I'd like to thank the thousands and thousands of athletes that have come before us that spurred this on. And if you think back now, we have 100, including the 5 from this year, we have 180 people. How many tens of thousands of athletes? I have records going back to the baseball team in 1886. How many thousands of athletes have gone through the halls of Lowell High, and we only have 180 athletes. So it's a very illustrious club, and the 5 that are getting inducted tonight should be extremely proud of themselves. All right, a few requirements that are necessary to get into the Hall of Fame. The application, that is the most important thing. And we had, talking to numerous wrestlers that are here tonight, and they're firing names at me before the meal tonight, and saying, why isn't this guy here? Why isn't he in? Blah, blah, blah. Can't get in unless you have an application. Strictly the first rule, you have to have an application on file with me. 10 years graduation, since your graduation, excellent student athlete, coaches and contributors are also in the Hall of Fame. The committee consists of 10 members, as I mentioned earlier. I know I have their names here somewhere, I don't want to forget anybody. Hold your applause till the end. Mark Byrne, Margie Miller, Jeff Lambert, Pat McDurk, Tim Patterson, Mary Beth McKinney, Tippa Durkin, Jen Burns, Martin, and Mike Stewart. So thank you all. They were a big help to me, and they helped put on this evening for everyone to enjoy. Like I said, the application is the most important thing. I'm going to address the student athletes that are here tonight over to my right. Listen to the speeches tonight, because these speeches are about success stories. Many of the teachers are here tonight, many of the coaches are here tonight, but the coaches and the teachers have molded these athletes into who they are and who they were at Lowell High School. So if anything, I'm going to say to the student athletes, listen to the speeches and you'll be very impressed. I think the highlight of the evening are the speeches myself. And student athletes, you'll always be welcome here at the banquet. Last but not least, after the ceremony, please look through some of the scrapbooks on the tables over here that I've been compiling since 1986. There's applications. If you can think of somebody who would like to nominate, and the nominations can come from family and friends, teammates, relatives, your coaches. Any of those people can nominate someone for the Hall of Fame. So please pick up an application. It's at the front desk on the way out. There are record books on sale out here. The baseball book goes back to 1886. Football book to 1890. The basketball, boys and girls basketball, goes back to 1900. Softball book, spring track records are out there. And this year, I hope to start working on a wrestling book. And I've been kind of mingling my way around to the different tables, trying to recruit wrestlers that may have some information, whether it be on a scrapbook form, end of the year stat sheet. And I know Barney Lewis and the Dillon family have been big help to me so far. Jeff Lambert has given me a lot of good information, but there's still a lot out there. So if you have any information, see me before you leave. So thank you for coming, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Can you hear me okay? The back? Oh, okay, great. Good. Okay, now to start our induction ceremony right here. First one on the list is Timothy M. O'Keefe, class of 1990. I had a chance to meet Tim years ago and did a short stint at Tingsboro High School. My kids were there, and great guy and a great administrator, and had a real pleasure to meet him then, and this is so deserving of an award for him tonight. An important member of the legendary Lowell High School wrestling program, Timothy O'Keefe made contributions as both a competitor and later as Lowell's head coach. As a freshman, Tim received his baptism as a wrestler, as a member of the celebrated 86-87 Massachusetts Wrestling Hall of Fame squad that won Division North 1, Massachusetts State, and New England team championships. Over the subsequent 3 years, Tim made significant contributions to the Raider wrestling juggernaut. As a junior from 88 to 89, Tim won the title at 140 pounds, got the prestigious Lowell Holiday Tournament. Lowell won the Division I state championship to conclude a successful season. As a senior from 89 to 90, Tim was a team tri-captain and MVP, compiling an impressive record of 41-3 overall. Voted the outstanding wrestler at the Division I North Championships, Tim led the Red and Gray to the team championship. He finished his career placing 5th at the Division I State Championship meet. After graduation, he wrestled at Edinburgh State University, where he was coached by Olympic gold medalist Bruce Baumgartner. Tim returned to Lowell in 1997 as a physical education teacher and assistant coach to his mentor, legendary Hall of Fame coach, George Bossy. Succeeding George Bossy in 2003, Tim proceeded to exceed expectations during an 8-year run from 03 to 2011, on par with his illustrious predecessor. Tim's Lowell High teams won 5 North Sectional Championships, 4 Division I State Championships, and the 2007 New England Championship, Lowell's first since 1987, which was Tim's freshman year. The countless accolades garnered by Tim O'Keefe included 5-time Lowell Sun, 2-time Boston Globe, 4-time Division I North Sectional, and 4-time Division I State Coach of the Year awards. The National Wrestling Coaches Association honored Tim as its National Coach of the Year, Massachusetts chapter in 2007. Tim currently continues to make a difference at Lowell High School as a house dean at his alma mater. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim O'Keefe.
Thank you, Ted. I promise I'm not going to brag. It's been tough. Good evening. I may have to move around, to be quite honest. I can't sit still. And this blocks my view of my mother, my son, my brothers. I can see my wife. I am blessed and grateful to be inducted into the 35th Lowell High School Hall of Fame. I want to congratulate the 2021 inductees, their families as well. You're well deserving. I know most of them. They were at the high school when I was there. I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for selecting me, recognizing the accomplishments that my team's earned through the years, and for any award that we collected along the way. Thank you, Bonnie Lewis, for nominating me. Your selflessness knows no bounds. I appreciate what you did, Bonnie. Bonnie also keeps us all connected for all you young wrestlers to join those, get on that email chain, because he updates us on what's going on. He does a lot of good for us. I appreciate it. Thank you to my wife, Kathy, my children, Molly and Liam, my parents, Mickey and Donna, and my in-laws, Jim and Kathy. I'm not easy to deal with. I was not easy when I was coaching. I was pretty intense. I know that. It's just the way I'm wired. I hyper-focus, but we did get results. I thank my brothers, my brother-in-laws, their families, my friends and their families, my aunt and uncle, Tom Robin. I appreciate everything they do for my family. All my friends and family and your families, I really do appreciate you taking the time to be here, more than you know, because I know time is precious and you're away from your family at this time. My high school coaches, Scott McQuaid, Tim Heitzman, Tim Coughlin, and Paul Haley. My high school teammates, I can just honestly tell you, when I was in the room, I always thought of you. Stephen Feeney drove in from Alabama. John Quigley, Brett Dowland, Josh Islanian, Paul Diamantopoulos, to name a few. And of course, you don't get the success that our kids had without the competition. And we have a legend in the room, and it's not Bossy, but Bossy is a legend. It's Larry Legend from Winchester. And being around great coaches, it just helps you. It elevates your game. You want the best competition, and that is something I learned from Coach Bossy. I also appreciate Scott Boyle, and congratulations to him. I worked closely side by side with him, and it means a lot that he has Jeff going in. I've attended many of these since the late 90s and feel honored to have the O'Keefe name cemented on the walls of Lowell High School. I see it every day when I walk in, not something I thought about, not something I dream about, but I'm happy for my mother. There's a lot of mentors that are in here, friends, co-workers, that are in the Hall of Fame that have been in my life. Big Tom Machado, Brian Martin, Jeff Lambert, Brian McMahon, Coach Meyer, and Danny Graham, to name a few. And I want to welcome our new principal, Mr. Fiato, for being here. It's his first introduction to Lowell. We didn't have this last year, and he's doing a wonderful job. I always told my kids, it's your story, you write it. Well, I'm going to tell you my story, but it's still being written. I've been up here a long time doing this. Everything I say, I do every day in an office with the kids. But my message is always for the kids. So you understand me and why I love Lowell wrestling, you got to understand how I grew up. My parents taught us about faith in God, unconditional love, and sacrifice. And they didn't do it just for us, they did it for everybody else. And those are things I learned young, service to others, what it meant. Our house was never, ever empty. There was always somebody there, either moving in, moving out, needed a place to go, needed a meal, needed a bed, and Mickey and Donna opened it up. Every once in a while, clothes get stolen too. I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna. My mother put our name on everything. Underwear, t-shirts, mom, people stole them. Right, they stole them. My mother and my father worked hard. They instilled in us that value to work hard and to do something you love. My mother, at 72 years young, still works 4 to 5 days a week at the Owl Diner as a waitress. I talk about her every day. I appreciate Tom Shanahan and everything he's done for our family. The owner of the Owl. She is the toughest person I know. She not only had to deal with Mickey, her husband, but her 4 sons, Sean, Timmy, Brian, and Keithy. And everyone else's sons. Sometimes you'd see Tombo Machado, John Cusick, somebody would just be there. I do love you, Mom. Thank you for what you've done. My father, and I won't get emotional, I don't think, from this point on, because I had a great opportunity today with my father. He's in a nursing home. He's not well. But I was fortunate enough and blessed. I said at the beginning, I'm blessed. I really am blessed. My mother put him on the phone, and I don't want to say what he's usually like to me, but today, out of all days, happened to be my day. And her question, I only answered the phone for my mother because I didn't know if something was wrong. I was struggling. But she called at the right time, and I think my father, no, it's our connection with faith. He prays the rosary like me, and we always have that faith together. She said, do you love Timmy? He said, yes, and he's the best. So tonight, Mom, like brothers, I'm the best tonight, Mom. Just don't forget that. I do have 2 very important beliefs that I've carried with me. Again, I do this every day. I don't know why this is hard tonight. I really don't. These are things I talk about every day. I can do them in my sleep. But they don't give away championships. You do have to earn them. And I think when you look at society, we have a lot of people that are just waiting for something to happen. You have to go earn things. And I know my kids learned that. And they went out and earned everything they got. And the other thing I developed is you really don't choose wrestling, it chooses you, because nobody in their right mind is going to pick wrestling. It's tough. It's tough. I'm thankful I did it. My son's doing it now, and good luck. I love him, and good luck. It's a great sport, it is. It's a great teacher. To growing up, you just understand, my parents did a lot for everybody. Our teams were always at our house. They taught what family was. And you help people. And I really believe I've carried that. As a high school wrestler, I had one goal when I got introduced to Lowell Wrestling and Coach Bossy. I just want to be a state champ. I mean, it's a good goal to have, right? For all you young kids. Again, I was blessed, spoiled. That 87 team just crushed it. States in New England. 4 state champs. My sophomore year, Kevin Chea won it. Billy Sullivan, very deserving of being in the Hall of Fame. The next year, Johnny Quigley won. And Billy Sullivan. So senior year, I thought it was just my time. I earned a 5th. And that night, the Barica coach, who's actually great friends with Coach Bossy, and I competed against him, I had a lot of respect for him, as I'm crying in the gym, said to me, as he's hugging me, and I will never forget this as long as I live, because it has stayed with me and I've used it many times. When you look at it now, it's simple, and I laugh about it. But he said, if this is the worst thing that happens to you, consider yourself lucky. And at 17, I remember this. I thought, I should punch him, or do I hug him? And that was what went through my mind. But I knew he was trying to help me, because I was just in pain. And what I learned that night, you know, as time, I shouldn't say that night, because I learned pain is real, hurt doesn't go away, but time does heal. And little did I know that particular night was going to be a turning point in my life to have an opportunity to help kids. And what I learned from wrestling in high school is you have setbacks. They're okay. It's okay to fail. What's not okay is to not get back up. You are going to fail. You learn that way. Your self-worth cannot be based on winning a match, hitting a home run, not being in the starting lineup. Because I have kids here who I adore, I love. They weren't state champs. But I knew they were already mentally tough. They just had it. They knew what their self-worth was because they were taught it. They embraced it. They knew young. You need a support system. And that's your family. The family unit has power. And I can tell you, no matter how crazy my home was, we had a lot of love. A lot. And I'm so blessed and thankful for it. You know, the secret to success, everybody thinks there's a secret. There isn't. You get what you earn, and you earn what you get. And I learned that as a high school guy. I didn't earn that first place. That's okay. Listen, I've been blessed more than you know, and I'll get into that. My college coaches at Edinburgh University were men of great moral character. They truly were wonderful role models, true family men, faithful men, and fierce competitors. There is where I learned it takes more mental toughness than it does physical toughness to be successful in all areas of your life. And I grew up, you competed, you fought every day, we argued, you thought that was being tough. It was all about mental toughness. And I was blessed. I get to talk to one of my coaches, who was one of my teammates. We talk every morning. He is the head coach at the University of Oklahoma. And we get to talk every day. We do this every day. I've been blessed, like I said. I get unbelievable knowledge every day to go in to help the Lowell kids. My coaching career. I started in my speech about being truly blessed and grateful, and I really am. There were a lot of challenges. There's a lot of pain that goes with coaching for anybody that's done it. Any type of success you need, that you have to go earn, you go through a lot with these kids. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Their blood, sweat, and tears are real, and so am I. Only Michael Kunzler, who also coached me as a freshman and got me going, and I understand what it means to be the head coach for Lowell High Wrestling. To follow a legend is not something I recommend, because you better be pretty secure in who you are, in your skills, in your beliefs, because you're going to need them. And I know Mike and I have always had a bond because of that. Mike also supported us a great deal. But I do think in this room, we have a guy named Nick Logan. I think he's going to be able to understand what we went through. And I do hope that happens at some point. Coach Bossy, he's been a father figure. I didn't think I'd get this way, but I mean, he's done a lot. He's done more than people will ever know. He has been a father figure, not only to me, but to so many kids. The influence he had on us and the impact it had on our lives and our kids' lives is pretty powerful. I try to take a photo with him every year when he shows up recruiting. He doesn't understand that I'm crazy busy at work. I have to stop what I'm doing because he wants to get the next kid. He can't help it. He's just going to go keep going. He really is the beginning and the end with us. I don't think his records are ever going to be duplicated, and I hope they never are. But he's such a big part of my life. He's a big part of everybody, a lot of people here, to be honest. I love him, and I appreciate everything he's ever done for all of us. My assistant coaches, Dave McNeil, Kevin Sullivan, Joe Cooper, Norman Long, and Phil Conroy were with me since the beginning, for 8 years. And it's one of my most proudest moments of my life because I'm intense. And I know that. I'm hyper. My mind's racing all the time. I'm always thinking about what the kid needs. I really don't take a break when I'm in that zone. So it's a lot to keep up with. And these guys stood by me. They are great men. They were great for your kids. I was very blessed, again, so blessed, more than you know, to have the people in my life. Because they have all helped me become who I am. to be up here knowing I coached 3 kids, Casey Boyle, Paul McNeil, and John Dolan, that are in the Hall of Fame, it really is a special feeling. And it's great to be here as an athlete, but I'm here as a coach. I coached probably 100 kids that had much better accomplishments than I did, and I'm okay with that. There's a lot of kids I coached that I'm glad to see you because you deserve to be here someday. But like Coach Bayham said, you got to get nominated. There's a lot of kids worthy in this room right now that have done amazing things. But these kids don't know my core values. I talk about them every day, but I've never done it in a group setting like this. I actually acquired and developed based off of my teams and things just trying to help families, helping kids every day. So what did my teams do? What did those kids have that they became successful? And those core values are my F's. They had faith, they had family, they had fight, they had focus, they had fun, fathers, and finish. And to understand them, this is what they gave me. This is the gift that they gave me. They really did believe in us. They believed in their parents. They believed in their competition. And in the end, what they realized is when they believed in themselves, it was amazing what these guys did. It truly was amazing. I had the honor and privilege I got to witness greatness. It's only because they had faith, they believed. And the family piece is so critical to was and is so critical to youth sports, high school sports. The family unit that we had, our parents were amazing. What they did for our children, our kids, was truly, the holiday tournament is really a 4-day affair, and these parents, they just stepped up. They sacrificed all their time from work to be there. Our boosters started when I was there with Jack and Karen Dolan, and it was Mike and Kathy Dillon, and then Paul and Lisa Feely. And then there was a guy that always hung around named Joe Cooper that always helped me from the late 90s till when I was done. And that's not, I can't name everybody, but I can tell you the boosters played such an integral role of keeping our family unit intact. I lived it, I saw it. And those families helped the kids that needed it. And that's why we were successful. We had grandparents, the Fallons, the McQuaids, that always came to matches. They loved it. And I'm always thankful to them for that. The fight, our kids did bring it every day. They controlled their emotion, they controlled their anger. They never retaliated, but they did bring the fight every day. They brought the focus. They were focused every day in that room. You had to be focused to win. And they kept it. They stayed on task, they stayed on point, and they somehow always managed to just be successful. It was impressive. The fun, you have to have fun too. Now I really am happy up here. I may not look it, but I really am happy. I have to get through this. But they had fun. And a lot of times the fun in wrestling is what you do outside, the stuff I grew up. That's what I remember. I only remember one match. I don't remember the other stuff. But I remember the fun we had. And these kids knew how to have fun. And the father piece is so important to me because I feel what Coach Bossy did was he tried to be a father for as many kids as possible. He treated you the way you treat your own kid. And I tried to do the same thing. And with that, you sometimes hurt feelings. You're too truthful. But it needs to be said because you got to get them to the next level. And once a kid told me what he wanted, and I made sure I did everything in my power to make it happen. So you had to push. And you had to do that in order for them to get their success. And they always finished, which is the hardest thing to do in life. Do you know that? It's the hardest thing. Starting's easy, finishing is tough. So they always finish. Again, this group, I'm so blessed to see so many of these kids here. It really is, it's an emotional night. You guys made this what it is. I'm not here because of me, trust me. I'm here because of what you have accomplished, and I thank you. So in closing, I wanted to be a state champ. I said that. Took me a long time to get over that. I don't know, a year, I don't even know. But I can tell you this. When I say I'm blessed, I mean it. To have an opportunity to go back and coach your high school team and coach a lot of kids that had amazing accomplishments, whether they were third New England, fifth in the state, runner-up in New England, or state New England champs. There was so much more joy in that than ever winning it myself. I'm just being honest. I get more joy. It's like having children, right? You enjoy, when they're happy, you're happy. To see what they did, it means more than they will ever know. And again, the memories and the lessons that they taught me, I use every single day at the high school, and I'll never stop. I love you guys. I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you.
Class of 1994, Julianne Driscoll. Combining athletics and strength, the courage to overcome adversity, Julie forged a career and enabled her to secure a place among most successful performers in the history of Lowell High School girls track program. During her freshman year and sophomore years, Julie exhibited unlimited potential. During both indoor and outdoor seasons, she displayed her surprising third-place finish in the long jump at the 1991 Outdoor Class A state champ. Her leap of 16.7 marked her an athlete to watch. Unfortunately, that summer, Julie was diagnosed with a bone tumor in her foot and surgery to remove it. A long rehab followed, causing her to miss her sophomore indoor season and casting doubt on her athletic future. With determination and the mark of a champion, Julie would not be denied returning to compete in the outdoor season in 1992 and joining the cross-country team in her junior year. Having worked her way back from surgery, Julie proceeded to enjoy the outstanding junior year, 92 and 93, team MVP, leading scorer during both the indoor and outdoor season. Julie won the MVC All-Conference Lowell Sun All-Star honors as well. En route to an undefeated MVC indoor season, the 50-yard dash, she equaled the school record of 6'3". She won the 50 at the Northern Area Sectional Meet and won the combined boys and girls team championship. In the outdoor season, Julie fought off injuries to qualify for the Class A state championship meet in no fewer than 7 events: the 100, 2, 4, shot put, long jump, and both the 4x10 and 4x400 relays, prompting Coach Jim McGurk to comment that Julie was perhaps the most versatile athlete he has ever coached. During her senior year, Julie was team co-captain, team MVP, MVC All-Conference during both indoor and outdoor seasons. She also was the Lowell Sun Athlete of the Year for the indoor season. The indoor season provided another example of the range Julie had talent. She was the MVC All-Conference in the 50-yard, 4th in the shot, a Class A state championship meet, and 5th in the long jump at the New England Championships. During the outdoor season, Julie was one of the state long jump champions and was forced to switch to shot put during a knee injury. Because of a knee injury, I'm sorry. An appropriate ending to her high school career, she placed 2nd in the shot put at the Class A state championship. After graduation, Julie attended UMass Lowell on a track scholarship, competing as a multi-athlete and graduating multi-cum laude. From the class of 1994, please welcome Julianne Driscoll.
Tim, what the heck, man? all of that. Thank you guys for being here. This is actually really, really cool. It's really cool to be up here. I want to start off by saying that this is 100% dedicated to my dad. He has been my biggest fan and supporter from day one. Dad, without your support, all of my success and accomplishments over the past 45 years would not have been possible. So, again, thank you. I would also like to thank Coach McGurk for believing in my abilities and pushing me to be the best possible track athlete I could have been. So thank you, Coach. I actually wrote a bunch of more stuff to say, but I think I'm just gonna cut it really short and sweet. And obviously you just heard about my entire track career, so I don't need to go over my accomplishments because you just read them. But the memory that sticks out most in my mind is the White Plains, New York semi-national meet, where I got third-degree sunburns laying out in the sun with baby oil. I tried so hard to hide it from Coach because I knew he would not be happy. With all the injuries that I've fought over the years, that was by far the most painful 100 meters I've ever had to run in my entire life. Coach, I don't even think he remembers that because I tried to. But I have so many great memories from high school track, and by Coach and the lifelong friends I made along the way are by far my favorite. I was fortunate enough, as you heard, to earn a track and field scholarship to run a UMass Lowell, and I ran for Coach Davis there, where I had a ton of fun, but I was also plagued by injuries, and I ended up being diagnosed with lupus when I was in grad school. So that probably explains all the injuries. But following getting my master's degree in criminal justice, I became a police officer, where I never lost anybody in a foot pursuit. It really got to a point where my partners would just sit back and be like, Julie, get him. They got so lazy, because they knew I'd catch him. But I'd like to credit high school track for teaching me the value of hard work and determination. It has served me well throughout my life. I have raised my son with the same values, and he has proven that this type of upbringing has benefited him. He is one of his high school's ambassadors, a straight A student, and is enrolled in 2 college courses at the age of 16. I'm so damn proud of you guys. I'm so damn proud. He actually helped me write this. He's paper that has this sort of thing. And in closing, congratulations to everybody that got inducted with me. Like, this is such a cool thing. Like, such an honor. And thank you to the High School Hall of Fame Committee for selecting me. Thank you for Coach and believing in me. Thank you to my friends and family for their support through the years. Thank you to my BFFs, Gina and PH. Thank you for being here. And thank you to my son, Alex and Bonnie, for being here. But lastly, and thank you, Dad, for absolutely everything. I love you so much, Dad. Thank you for your support.
Chea is the first Asian American to gain induction into Lowell High School Athletic Hall of Fame. Chea survived an incredible trek escaping the Cambodian genocide in the 1980s. During the harrowing journey seeking freedom, Chea and his family suffered the loss of 7 of his siblings from starvation or lack of medical care. After their incredible odyssey, Chea and his remaining family members finally arrived in the United States, eventually settled in Lowell. Arriving in Lowell to an entirely new culture and an unfamiliar language, Chea entered the Lowell public school system, eventually enrolling in Lowell High School in 1991. Joining the Lowell High School wrestling program for the 1992-93 season, Chea adapted quickly to this unfamiliar sport under the tutelage of legendary Lowell High School Hall of Fame coach George Boston. Displaying the same perseverance and courage that has served him well during his family's flight for freedom from Cambodia, Chea flourished through the rigors of life on the wrestling mat. As a junior from 93 to 94, Chea placed 5th in the 103-pound division at the Division I North Sectional Tournament, setting the stage for a dramatic senior year. Coach Mike Kunzler succeeded Coach Bossy as the Lowell High School head coach for Chea's senior year. Chea proceeded to compile one of the most successful seasons in Raider wrestling history. En route to an overall season record of 33-2, Chea, still in the 103-pound class, was runner-up at both the prestigious Lowell Holiday Tournament and the Division I State Tournament. He avenged the latter runner-up finish by winning the championship at the Massachusetts All-State Tournament the following week. He concluded his Lowell High School career by winning the championship at the New England Tournament. Chea won Boston Globe All-Scholastic and Boston Herald All-State Honors and was named the Lowell Sense Wrestler of the Year. After graduation, Chea continued his wrestling career at UMass Lowell. Ladies and gentlemen, Chea Touch.
Thank you, everybody. I'm completely honored and humbled to be standing up here in front of everybody. Wow. Like I said, never in a million years would I ever think that I would be have this opportunity to be honored in the Lowell High Hall of Fame. I'll start out by making sure I thank all my coaches from Coughlin, Brett, to Bossy, Heisman, and Coach Kunzler, Coach Kevin Sheehan for staying after practice, helping me out every single day, making sure I make my weight. But like I said, as a freshman, you're coming in to Lowell High, all you want is acceptance, find yourself a place, be self-worth. But for me as a freshman, I thought I was going to school, keeping your head in the books, maybe join a couple after-school club programs, international clubs and all that. So that's what I did my freshman year. Didn't do any sports. I just wasn't an athlete. But my sophomore year came around. I had a friend who was in scouts with me. He was a freshman, tough little kid, thought he was a big shot. Kind of came up to me and said, hey, let's go do some wrestling. Kind of dared me, kept egging me on. So like, okay, fine, I'll go. I go to wrestling practice as a sophomore, go to JV, freshman class. So we go wrestle for the first week or so. All this hard practice, crazy. A week after, he doesn't show up. He's the one stuck in on the mat. Hopping over there makes me captain, and you go, oh wow, captain. So I give myself words. I'm like, now I'm stuck. I'm not going nowhere. So you keep on wrestling, and halfway through the season, I dislocated my arm. So season was done. Junior year comes around, I'm still rehabbing. It's just, I don't know what I'm doing. I asked Coach Coughlin over there, how can I get myself back on the mat? He goes, how can I strengthen that arm? He said, take that dumbbell, do this. So all I did in the weight room was this. So I kept going every day. Finally, I go to the coach. What's going on? This thing is huge. This side is huge. I said, what are you doing? He said to do this. What, did you do this? He said this. I don't know. But so halfway through the season, I finally get on the mat again. I didn't do so hot in the sectionals or anything. That year, I felt like kind of let down some of the teams. I wasn't up to par. They had the winter banquet, and I wasn't there because I said I didn't feel like I did my part. I didn't get named captain, so I got a little disappointed. The practice called me up and said, keep your head up. Team needs you. I didn't think I was going to wrestle my senior year. It was changing coach. Kunzler came around. He kind of dragged me in, making sure that my head's in the right place, that I'm going to wrestle. I got McNeil coming to me, all my other wrestling mates, making sure he needs you. So once again, you just self-lead. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll do it. So the year was they're going to put 107 pounds. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome, 107 pounds. I can do that. So I buy this stupid hat, really ugly. I put my initials on it, CT 103. No, 107, sorry, 107. Season's about to start. I said, no, I don't have 107. It's 103. So I couldn't change the 107 to I couldn't do a 112. It'd be a lot easier. From 107 to 112, awesome. But I couldn't change that 7 to a 12. So I'm like, all right, I'll make it 103. So that's how I got stuck at a 103. But my senior year, it was incredible. I was really raw. I was still learning. didn't know where I stood until like the holiday tournament. You go in, you're a pigtail in the tournament. What that means is that I wasn't even ranked or good enough to get into the tournament, so I had to wrestle my way to get into the tournament, just to get in. And I did well in that tournament, getting second, but a lot of lessons learned from it. You know, Coach Heisman brought me up and said the next week that you did a great job. He'd be like, what are you doing out there? You look like a monkey because you're going all over the place. And I'm like, Coach, I don't know what I'm doing. I really did. Everything was too fast, really fast. It started slowing down. You know, I had help from all my teammates. Thank you very much, you know, especially. I had great captains and Pat and Dave McNeil. All my lightweight guys went out there. Godbout, Gilday, Jose, they always had my back. I can come in one day and be 117, I gotta get down to 103. That's 14 pounds. They knew my weight better than I did. They keep pushing you. Thank you. I mean, you made that work, man. It's crazy. I don't know. Like I said, not being named captain was hurtful for me, but the lesson you learn from is that nothing in life should be given to you. You can't expect things. You gotta earn it. I think I truly earned it. So halfway through the season, I did become captain, but you earn it. So I mean, that's a good lesson that everybody's doing. It's not how you start; it's how you finish. And I think I did okay. Did okay. But that's it. Just thank you very much.
Our next inductee, Survival J. Ross, class of 2002. Having immigrated to the United States with his family to escape a war-torn Liberia, Survival Ross eventually settled in Lowell to emerge as one of the most accomplished running backs in the long history of Lowell High School football program. After enduring a 6-month horror-filled trek across West Africa with family and friends as a 9-year-old, Survival, as he's ultimately been known, arrived in Lowell. There he was introduced to the game unfamiliar to him, American football. He took the game and eventually joined Lowell High School. He was coached under the tutelage of Scott Boyle. Highly tutored entering his junior year, 2000, Survival suffered an early season injury which limited him to 6 games despite a shortened season. He scored 7 touchdowns and ran for 580 yards. As a senior, 2001, Survival compiled one of the most successful seasons in long, storied history of Lowell High School football. On an explosive offensive Red Raiders squad, Survival was the main offensive catalyst for the team, 8-3 record. Virtually unstoppable as a running back, he totaled 27 TDs, 166 points, and 745 yards rushing, ranking him second all-time in the Lowell High School list. His 5 TDs and the school record, 347 yards rushing, and the 49-35 victory at Chelmsford remains a great game in the history of Lowell High School. Another stellar effort came against a stingy Tewksbury defense in which the standout running back ran for 311 yards and 3 TDs in the 43-26 win. Survival's career statistics boost 34 TDs, 208 points, and 2,325 yards rushing. Incredible total, considering they were compiled in only 2 seasons. In addition to his offensive power, Survival was an outstanding defensive back and special teams performer. At the conclusion of this incredible campaign, Survival won numerous awards, including Boston Globe and Boston Herald All-Scholastic and Player of the Year honors. Survival also ran on the LHS indoor and outdoor track team. He ranks in the top 10 in both the 100 and 200 meter dashes in the LHS record books. He placed 3rd in the 100 meter in the MIAA state championship in 2002. Survival attended Boston College on a football scholarship after graduation, where he excelled as a running back and defensive back. From the class of 2002, Survival J. Ross.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Edwin. To start, I want to just thank the committee for allowing me. It's a tremendous honor, one that I hold very dearly to my heart. And also congratulations to the other inductees this year as well. There's a common theme with everyone that I'm seeing coming up here, and that's pride, dedication, and hard work. My story is no different than any of those. However, as you probably have heard already, no one makes it up here by themselves. No matter how many push-ups we do, no matter how fast we run, nobody makes it up here by themselves. So for that reason, I want to thank a couple of people, starting with, first and foremost, my coach. And I think coach is an understatement at this point, Coach Boyle. Can you go back to his seat? And one thing that I've always been very blessed is the fact that his influence that he's had, not only on me, but to this Lowell community. I've never met someone as selfish as him. To see a scrawny young kid that was a hot shot when he moved to Lowell, you couldn't tell me anything. Let's just say that. To see me and to see potential in me, to see trust in me, to take me everywhere because of the belief that he had in me that I necessarily didn't even have in myself. I mean, he was taking me from every local college tryouts to national college tryouts. I don't think I would have gotten any exposure if it wasn't been because of Coach. Unfortunately, he probably killed me and a number of people along the way from probably falling asleep on the road there a number of times. So, but in all honesty, Coach, I love you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything you've done for me, for my family, and for this community. It wouldn't be the same without you. So, thinking about this night, I try mentally to put it off just so I don't get as emotional until it finally hits, right? And this night is bringing back a lot of memories for me. I remember when I first moved to Lowell, only being a few years of coming from Africa. And the first person I met was in gym class, Coach Slattery, who saw me sitting by myself, said nothing, stonewalled me up and down, and then says, "You're going to football. This is where I want you to go. You're gonna meet Mr. B, get your pads and be on the field." And I was like, "You wanna ask me or you wanna tell me?" Like, I'm telling you. I was like, "Okay, we're good." So needless to say, I did exactly what I was told that day. Met up with Coach B, got my pads in a large black trash bag. Made it to the locker room. The team was already out there. The freshman team was out there. And then up the hills where the varsity team practiced. Again, just coming from New York, you couldn't tell me anything. So I put on the largest pad that I could find because I knew football was a very dangerous sport. I also grabbed the biggest helmet that I could find because it was the only one that could fit around my head. And I figured that's the most protection I can get. And then I grabbed what I thought was 2 sports cups. Walked right past the freshman field, went up to the varsity field, met this guy, sent me right back down to the freshman field. And that's where I met my wonderful teammates. Again, I would not be here without any of you guys. I'm looking at Dolan and B-Flow over there and Big Daddy and all the teammates that are here. I mean, a kid that knew absolutely nothing about this game other than Emmett Smith. You guys, I mean, we spent countless time just, first of all, teaching me how to put on the pads properly and let me know that I didn't need them, the very large ones, and I had to get a new helmet. I remember Big Daddy telling me on my first day that it probably was not the best impression to wear the Central Catholic colors in gym shorts if I wanted to make a good impression. So, and I mean, everything we achieved speaks for itself. Everything. And it's very easy to to come and watch a game and see, oh, there goes another long touchdown, let's celebrate, or, oh my goodness, he's going for 90, good job, and everyone celebrates, but no one really understands the work that goes on in the trenches. If it wasn't because of these guys, and I was speaking with Joe Harris recently because he was a bit envious because he didn't have the opportunity to run behind such a fantastic line. My job was easy. I mean, I knew I ran fast. I just followed the bucks. You know, if Dolan was going somewhere, I was there. When in doubt, right side, strong side, to Big Daddy and Flo. You know, I just had to finish what these guys started, and they made my life extremely easy, while also teaching me a lot about this game and everything that it opens up for us. You know, the bond that I have with you guys, the friendship that I have with you guys is something that I would never ever take for granted. So I appreciate you guys. Like I mentioned, I am up here because of you. I'm up here because of you. And to the student athletes in the room, it's very easy once you start to realize that you have even an ounce of athletic ability to let your hair blow up. It's very easy. My advice to you, do not do that. It sounds cliche, but at some point in your life, someone is always working harder than you, and the moment you take your foot off the pedal, you're setting yourself up for failure. At the same time, if you want to make it out of the seats that you're in right now, make something of yourself, you need to be hungry enough to go after it, to surround yourself with the right individuals, to make sure you can accomplish your dreams. So again, thank you all for having me in this amazing society. I'm truly honored, I'm truly blessed. I'm hoping in the next 20 years I can come back and see my godson Bayham get into the hall as well. So thank you all for having me.
Now we have Courtney Schermerhorn, class of 2006. Actually, I had the opportunity to see Courtney play when she was a little kid in the Daily School and the Bailey School in the Highland League, so this has been a long time since, in quite a career. I actually had a chance to see her play at Bryant one year up at St. Anselm's also, so she's quite an athlete, believe me. A versatile athlete, Courtney Schermerhorn won significant honors in 3 sports during an illustrious career at Lowell High School. Indicative of her leadership qualities, Courtney was a team captain in both her junior and senior years in both soccer and basketball. As a member of the Lowell High girls soccer team, Courtney was a 4-year varsity performer, earning significant acclaim throughout her career. She received MVC All-Conference and Lowell Sun All-Star honors in both 2003 and 2004. She participated in outdoor track for her 4 years at Lowell High School. As a junior in 2005, she was a member of the Red and Gray school record-setting 4x100 meter shuttle hurdles relay team. This record still stands today. It was as a member of the Lowell High School girls basketball team during what might be referred to as the golden years of Lowell High School hoops that Courtney left an indelible imprint on the athletic history of Lowell High School. One of the team's catalysts, the 5'9" guard, played a significant role as a Red and Gray twice in 2004 and 2006, won Division I North Championships and advanced to state semifinals. A 4-year starter for the Raiders, Courtney displayed remarkable versatility throughout her first 3 seasons, consistently among the team leaders in virtually all offensive and defensive categories. Along the way, highlights abounded, whether it be a 3-point basket with 5 seconds remaining in double overtime to defeat Peabody in a Division I semifinal as a mere freshman, or a team-leading 18-point performance as a Red and Gray defeated arch rival Andover, ending a 21-game losing streak versus the Golden Warriors as a junior. As a senior, Courtney compiled one of the most impressive seasons of Lowell High School hoop history, as the Red and Gray won its 2nd Division I North Championship in 3 years, routing Somerville and advancing to the Division I state semifinals at the TD North Guard. Lowell finished the season with a 20-5 record. Courtney won a host of kudos for her efforts, including her 2nd consecutive MVP and MVC All-Conference awards, the John Bolio Outstanding Lowell High School Senior Athlete Award, the Lowell Sun Player of the Year Award, and both the Boston Globe and Boston Herald All-Scholastic Awards. She dominated the Lowell High statistics sheet, leading the Raiders in scoring with 360 points, rebounds, assists, steals, field goals, and foul shots. Courtney concluded her career near or at the top in virtually every offensive and defensive category in the Lowell High School girls basketball record book. She established Lowell High School career records in points scored, assists, steals, and games played. After graduation, Courtney attended Bryant University on a basketball scholarship as a four-year starter for Bryant, even as they transitioned from Division II to Division I after her sophomore year. She captained the Bulldogs during the 2009 to 2010 season, and she also won the prestigious Bryant Bulldog Recognition Award for outstanding leadership and contributions to the school. Ladies and gentlemen, Courtney Schermerhorn.
First off, I want to thank the committee for selecting me, Evelyn Trudell for nominating me, and congratulations to all of the other inductees tonight. Y'all are show-offs. I got a script, and we are sticking to it. So this like not writing speeches thing, not for me. This really is such an honor, and it makes me extremely proud to join the ranks of the LHS greats. And to be able to do it in front of my family. My brother is actually home from LA. I want to say he's here for this, but it's Thanksgiving next week, so that's really why he's here. And Evelyn Trudell, who watched my high school career and didn't know that years later her daughter would date my brother, and they've been together for 7 years. So, and I feel really fortunate to soak this all in with the people who were integral to my success as an athlete, my parents, my brothers, and my supporters. I don't think I could have ever in my wildest dreams have imagined all the doors that sports would open for me, and how much it would fundamentally change me and provide direction in my life. I attribute sports with instilling confidence in me, helping me find my place, where I belonged, where I felt most myself. I found my tribe. And with instilling confidence in me, I said that part, it's how I made my lifelong friends. It's where I learned some of the most important lessons of all my life: teamwork, discipline, time management, hard work, perseverance, and resilience. And unbeknownst to me, it informed my career path. It's also where I still turn when I need to think, decompress, recharge, whether that's the gym, going to a local park to shoot hoops, playing in a league, I do still play, or going out for a run. Being a 3-sport varsity athlete for 4 years brought lots of responsibility and lots of pressure. But with all that also came some amazing, unforgettable moments and opportunities, things I will never, ever forget. One being my freshman year. We were in double overtime with Peabody for the Division I semifinals, and the ball came to me in the left corner. And with mere seconds left, without even thinking, it was like my brain was off. I just caught it and let it fly. It went in and we won the game. And I heard a lot of mention of me being a freshman and having the confidence to take that shot, but for me it was one of those moments I loved the most when playing. It's where I just played on instinct. I didn't think about that I was a freshman, that I was taking the shot, that this was a big deal. I just knew instinctually that it was what I was supposed to do. As a senior, I had the opportunity to play at the Garden in front of my friends and family. I remember my parents telling me how cool it was to be taking the train to the Garden to watch their daughter play basketball. There was actually a picture in the paper the next day, and it was a shot of the crowd at the Garden, and it was all familiar faces. Aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, former teammates. I mean, my family isn't exactly small, but to see all of these faces in one photo and know that they were all there to support me was really humbling. And reading the article in the paper this week about my accolades and my athletic career was also wildly humbling. I had never seen it all in one place, and to be honest, I didn't know I had a track record, so that was a really cool surprise. And I think we're all so quick to minimize our accomplishments, so it was really cool to just see it all in one place and kind of relive some of those moments. When I was thinking about what I wanted to say and the themes that I wanted to convey in my message, I kept going back to 2 really prominent messages and pillars in my life that were really important. One being, it takes a village, and the other being the power of sports. It takes a village. I have my village here with me tonight. The sacrifices my parents made to provide me any and every opportunity to practice, improve, play for the best teams, and they never, ever, ever missed a game. I mean, never, and there's 5 of us. Never missed a game. They were there to support me, to pick me up when things didn't go as planned, to buy me the latest Nike sneakers because I had to play in Nikes. Carting me around to tournaments, an AAU team up in New Hampshire, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I always had what I needed to participate. I had cleats, I had shin guards, I had basketball sneakers, I had track spikes. And my brothers, the other part of my village, for beating me up in the yard when we played sports. They never, ever, ever made it easy. To the support here tonight, I mean, I know not everyone is as fortunate as I am to have the support system like this, and I'm grateful to the one that I have. I have worked in the nonprofit world for about 10 years now, all for youth-focused organizations. I always had what I needed, but I understood that not everybody has that. And that realization brought me to an organization called Good Sports, where I worked for 7 years and donated brand new sports equipment to youth programs across the country. And this was one way that sports really led to what I ended up doing with my life. I now work in development for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Boston, and I fundraise for 9 clubs across the city to help make sure that youth of Boston have opportunities and mentors in their the power of sports. I was a very shy and unassuming kid. I didn't like attention. Never in a million years would you tell me that I'd be doing this and I would be kind of okay with it. My very first soccer game when I was little, I was 4. My brother Kyle is a year older than me, he was 5, so we always played sports together. And it was my first game. My dad was the coach, and I scored a goal. Everybody's cheering, they're so excited for me, and I was like, attention? I don't want that. I ran off the field, and you could find me sitting on the sideline eating oranges for the next 3 games. I was like, attention, not for me, no thank you. But then I realized that I was like kind of good. I was good at this. I was good at sports. I played basketball. I was like, oh, I can get this. And it was through sports that I gained confidence and then translated that to my life off the court or off the field or off the track. I made friends. I found myself. I learned about the capabilities of my body and admired what it could do. And the LHS athletic community was so welcoming and brought me in with open arms and provided me opportunities and support to be successful. It takes a village. And again, I want to thank mine. And sports can change lives. I know it has for me, and it continues to do so. And for the athletes in the room, whether you're the best, or you're on the bench, or you're the loudest cheerer, understand that every little moment is teaching you something, and something that's going to help you as you get older. So take those moments and really understand them, and hold on to them, because they will be really important as you get older. Again, thank you so much. This is really, really an honor. Thank you.
How about a round of applause for our 5 inductees? We want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Again, we'd like to thank all of our sponsors. It's been amazing how many people have stepped up and helped to sponsor this event this evening. It's wonderful to be back together again with all what we've all gone through over the last 18 months or so, to see people in person and to be able to get together like this in an event and be together. It's tremendous. And if you have others that you think would be great inductees for Lowell High Hall of Fame, as Bob went over a little while ago in the program, please keep that in mind, and we're always looking for good candidates. If some of these are nominated, they don't get in. So you need to nominate people in order for them to get into the Hall of Fame. If you do have a name tag, if you could drop it off heading out the door. And also, the bar and the restaurant are open in the front, so if anybody wants to stick around and watch the Patriots game, I haven't heard what the score is, but nothing, so it's a good thing. Good. We're on top, so that works out well, and that'll be open. To finish off, we've got Joe Regan with the Lowell High Fight song.